The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? It's the week of November 25th, 2019. My name is Taylor Cooper. This is Might Be Sports. With me, as always, Kevin Reevy. What's up, Reevy?
When we all fall asleep, where do we go? Can't get that song out of my head.
What up, CJ?
What song is that?
Billie Eilish, that song. It's
Oh, all right.
Oh, yeah.
it's her depressing song. Oh, wait. That's all of them. I had a thought today. I'm like, she seems like a nice gal.
Yeah.
And her music is good if you're into shitty music. But I'm going to sound like this is the oldest I've ever sounded in my life. Her music has to contribute to depression. To people's general depression.
That like emo music stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is from the guy that played Baby Shark at the bar. That definitely contributed to my depression.
No, it doesn't. That makes people happy. It gets people psyched.
The show is sponsored by Eunomia CBD. Go to eunomiacbd.com. Use promo code MBN. Get 20% off, free shipping, and free stuff. It's the day before Thanksgiving. I'm super excited about it. For this special episode, we have on the line with us from the Backyard Report, again, Ricky Bell. What's up, Ricky? How you doing, man?
Taylor, Kevin, CJ, what is good?
Oh, man, thank you so much for being on the show with us, Ricky. We have a lot to get to. You and I, we reached out to each other last week. We want to talk some Eagles, and I'm actually kind of glad we waited a week because I feel like we have more to talk about right now. How are you feeling about the Eagles right now? Do you see them salvaging this season at all?
At this point in time, I think they have to. There's nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. If you look at their schedule, it's very favorable. They could win 5 straight if they get their act together. But yeah, they got to do something. The offense looks terrible. The defense looks better than I think they were in 2017 when they won the Super Bowl. So they got to figure it out.
Do you think, in your opinion, that this is the offensive struggles? Do you think that is all receivers, a receiver issue, or what do you think of Carson Wentz right now?
A little bit is Carson Wentz, but a lot of it, in my opinion, if you're asking me, mm-hmm. is the receivers. I don't know if anyone has tuned into Dan Orlovsky's video.
Yes.
But he breaks it down for you. The receivers are just running shit routes. They're not getting any separation, and it's causing Carson to hold the ball too long. And then you're asking the offensive line to hold up. And I mean, like I said, I break it down by X's and O's. And when that offensive line is getting pushed back into you, you got no room to make a good throw. Right. And that's, to me, a receiver issue. And I played receiver in high school, and I know what it takes to get off the ball and get separation.
Right. It looks to me like the team is lacking that unity aspect that they had in 2017. I feel like there isn't, aside from the silly end zone taking a picture kind of celebrations, you're not hearing the same kind of stories out of the locker room of guys staying late, staying together, being even friendly towards each other. Realistically speaking, this season, I feel like it's all been negative. It's all been, what player is gossiping to the media, what player is trashing Carson Wentz, what player is doing this and that. What do you make of all that?
It shouldn't matter. You all have a goal to win a Super Bowl, which we're really far from it at this point in time. But you got to get rid of that noise, honestly. And I said this, I think there's going to be a couple players and coaches that aren't going to be there next year. And if you have Carson as your franchise quarterback, and you have Doug Peterson as your head coach, you have to put people around him that are going to be good for him. Tom Brady does it with people we don't even know. Honestly.
Right. Yeah, you're right about that.
And they're 10-1, and on our way probably to maybe a number 1 or number 2 seed. So I don't want to hear that excuse of, we have this player, we have that player, or all the noise. You got to figure a way to block it out, and that's going to start with your coaching staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. You were talking about the the wide receiver performance, the separation, the route running. It was, Elliot Shorr-Parks, writer for Eagles beat writer. He's been probably more critical of Carson Wentz, especially lately, and not so much on the receivers. So a lot of people find fault with him in that respect. And there was an interesting exchange on Twitter where Elliot Shorr-Parks specifically pointed out one play pass to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, where he said, well, here's an example of Carson Wentz waiting too long. He's got a guy open. He flat out just misses the target. And then Bryce Treggs, actually former Eagles wide receiver, went on there and specifically said, no, this is the route he was supposed to run. And he hits his spot, but he takes an extra hop, and that threw Wentz off. It threw off the whole timing and the location of the play.
Yeah.
So we have this situation where don't you think it's kind of like it's getting like politics now, where you see one thing, you see it all, like clear as day on video, and two people can have completely different ideas about what the truth is.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think it goes back to, it depends on whose side you want to be on. Do you want to be on, the Carson Wentz's side, where he's the franchise quarterback, you paid him all this money, this is our guy? Or do you want to blame it on the receivers? Again, like I said, I'm the X's and O's guys. Some of these routes that they run are timing.
Yeah.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside took an extra hop. It threw off the time. Carson was expecting him to be somewhere that he wasn't. So that throws everything off. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Carson has had a few mishaps. It's not all him. But from what I'm hearing, people want to trade Carson Wentz. That's one of the stupidest things I've heard, since being an Eagles fan for all my life.
Yeah.
You gotta look at, I don't know if you guys tuned in for the live last night or rewatched it, but look at the stats this year. Tom Brady is doing just as good as Carson Wentz.
Right.
And he's supposed to be the greatest quarterback of all time. That's fine. But you're allowed to have bad games. But as a team, other players have to pick it up. And that's where, the Eagles are failing. At the beginning of the year, preseason, the Eagles have depth. They can sustain injury. I haven't seen it at all.
Right.
So that's what's got to happen. They got to figure something out. Kyle Roseman, he's the GM. He has to fix it. We signed Jordan Matthews 2 weeks ago. We waived him yesterday. Well, what was the point of that? Are you going to bring someone else in?
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no identity in this team.
Bring Chad Ochocinco in or something. I mean, they have to do something if they want. I mean, I get that their schedule is super favorable from here on out, but that doesn't mean at all that the schedule in the playoffs is going to be favorable at all. You know what I mean? So,
no, I mean,
I think they could win the division because I think Dallas stinks, but at the same time, in my mind, I'm almost like I don't even want that to happen because this team isn't good enough to make it out of the wild card round, in my opinion. They're just not. I mean, I was watching that Seattle game and thinking to myself, I've been talking this whole time about how great it was that they got rid of Nick Foles. I feel like it was the perfect time to get rid of Nick Foles because I just thought that it was too much pressure on Carson. Ricky, we talked about it last time you were on. I feel like it was just too much pressure for him. But now I'm watching it, and I'm like, did that Super Bowl break this guy? Like, is the city being divided? Did that break him? I don't know the answer to that, and that's the thing that concerns me the most right now about Carson Wentz is can he get it together? Because what you guys are talking about with like the missed routes and we have some terrible receivers on this team right now, but at the same time, Carson Wentz isn't even looking to the side for a wide open Miles. What was his name?
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders, yeah.
I
totally
think he
missing
missed
that
him 3 times in that game.
Yeah.
3 times he missed him.
Really frustrating.
We
to
also
watch.
have to remember, I mean, Carson Wentz is not a guy. He's not, Lamar Jackson. He's not Russell Wilson who can make plays. They're proven this year. Both those guys are making plays by themselves. And he's not prime Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you're right.
So he's not going to be, it doesn't have to be so black and white to say is it the receiver's fault or the quarterback's fault.
Yeah.
It's a combination of the two. There's some fault to be put on Carson Wentz, but the situation might just be, if you don't surround him, he hasn't played long enough. He's just not good enough to be that guy who can make up for those deficiencies. And that's okay too. That means he can still be a great quarterback, but he can't make up for those deficiencies, which is fine.
And I think, Kevin, what I'm going to go back to is coaching.
Yeah.
Film study. The basics. Get back to the basics. Like when Nick Foles took over the Super Bowl run, he came in on a Monday night game against the Raiders. He was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, I think we're missing Frank Wright because he said, hold on, let's go back and look at what Nick Foles does well.
Yeah. Yep.
I think right now, with these next 5 games, they need to go back to 2017, those first 13 games before Carson tore his ACL. They need to go back and look at what Carson has done well and implement that into his game. If you can do it for Nick Foles and get to a Super Bowl, you should be able to do it for your franchise quarterback and at least make a push to the playoffs.
I completely agree.
Taylor, I think you're right, Taylor. I don't know. It doesn't matter. If the Eagles make the playoffs, they're not going to go anywhere. If Dallas makes the playoffs, I don't believe they're going to go anywhere.
Right.
So whatever team represents the NFC East, I don't see them going anywhere unless I'm proved wrong. But they need to go back to basics and say, hey, this is what you did well. This is what we need to do. But again, you got to get everyone on the same page.
Right.
And I think there's a few players, there's a few coaches that need to go.
Yeah, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl and the following season happened and they're re-signing some of these players that won the Super Bowl with them, no matter how old they are or and all that stuff. The sentimental side of it all is, I hope they keep everybody. I hope they keep Peters. I hope they keep everybody, everybody that they had when they won the Super Bowl. But to me now, that's over with. It's done. All these players that are on the team that have been there for some of them for too long, they've got to go. It's just, I feel like a rebuild to some degree is right around the corner. And that kind of sucks because I felt like, obviously when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, Doug P comes on there. This is the new norm. And I think that everybody, all of 2018, everybody up here close to Philly was all happy and nice to each other and all that shit. It's all over now. It's all over now. And I feel like a rebuild is right around the corner. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I mean, I think personally that, I don't think you have to rebuild all that much. I think this is a situation kind of similar to, and it thinks you can't do anything with Alshon Jeffrey's contract. He's locked in. There would be too much dead money on cap if you released him. But this is a situation I think kind of similar to, I guess it would have been 2003 when, it was a devastating loss in the playoffs to Tampa Bay, but it was also one of those deals where I knew, all right, now they're going to get a wide receiver. Now I'm 100% sure and pretty sure it's going to be T.O. Let's wait and see for that to play out. You just knew they were going to get somebody. Now you know they're going to get somebody. And it's going to be hard to fit it under the cap, but whatever they have to do, they're going to do it. Especially if they know they have to carry Alshon Jeffrey and he's just a shell of himself, shell of his former self. So you have to make up for that problem there, which is kind of nice. I mean, who are they going to end up with? I'm not sure. But there's a bunch of names out there that could be had via free agency or via trade. I mean, who knows if a guy like Odell Beckham might be available after this season. I bet you when things end up there with Cleveland, he's going to be saying some stuff in the offseason. It's not going to be great if they don't finish out the season strong. But, I mean, one of those things. And it could be a pain-in-the-ass guy. You might not want to bring in a guy like that. But they need a guy with talent.
Yeah. Ricky, what do you think?
Well, you know what? I'm so glad that Kevin is on this call because last time it was just me and you, Taylor, and I've been itching to hear Kevin, and we are on the same page.
I thought I was going to go the other way.
Here's what I think, and I might be wrong. It's just my opinion, but I don't see Nelson Aguilar in Eagles uniform next season.
Yeah, no.
I know we have Alshon locked up, but I don't see him in a Eagles uniform next season, based off reports of him, whatever he's been doing, his own shit. I see Djax coming back for another year, and the receiving corps is going to get revamped. Bold prediction: the Eagles make a run at OBJ.
Yeah.
You know, he'll have 3 years on his contract left, and I think if I'm not sure what the numbers are, but I know if we let or trade or something like that, Alshon Jeffrey would free up $9.9 million and cap space. But yeah, there's Jason Peters should be done. I'm sure Sproles is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think a complete rebuild is necessary, but I think there has to be some key players in key positions to help this team succeed. There's too much talent on this team to be 5-6. There's too much talent on this team for us not to be competing every year.
Right.
For the next 2 or 3 years at least.
You know, it's great that you guys bring up OBJ because, first of all, how incredible would that be for the Eagles if they got OBJ on the squad? Second, I feel like OBJ would love to play the Giants twice a year, right?
Oh, absolutely.
He strikes me as somebody, he was bitter that he left. He didn't want to go. They've got to get him. They got to get him. With Dallas and Amari Cooper, you have to match that. You thought that, I thought that Alshon Jeffrey would be that match. No, it's not. It hasn't come to fruition. It did in 2017. He looked great when they won the Super Bowl. But you look at it now, and he's a non-factor. We have to get a factor guy.
Alshon doesn't want to be a factor.
Right.
Remember, he played all of 2017 with a messed up shoulder, but he all of a sudden his ankle is hurt and he can't play. I'm not saying he's he's injured or hurt, whatever the case may be, but if he can tough it out to play a whole season with a messed up shoulder, I'm sure he can tough it out to try to win some of these games, because the past 2 weeks on offense has been disgusting.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. Disgusting. Well, Ricky, thank you so much for being on the show with us this week, man. I really appreciate it. We got to get you on again.
Well, hopefully next time you hear me, we'll be in the playoffs.
That's right. Ricky, where can people find the Backyard Report?
Yes, of course. The Backyard Report is always on Facebook at the Backyard Report. Me and Mike have switched platforms. We are on Anchor as well.
Great.
But, to get a quick access to our Anchor podcast, like our Facebook page. We post it on our personal pages. We post it on our Facebook page, and take a listen, man. We don't just talk about the Eagles and the Redskins. We talk about the whole league. But I think this next week we're just going to focus on the Cowboys and how bad they are.
That sounds good. I'm definitely going to be tuning into that. Ricky, thank you so much for being on, man. We really appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, just one more thing, man.
Yeah.
Tell JoJo you got to score some points, man. I don't like this 0 for 11 0.
All right. Oh, God. That's like next on my list of things to talk about is the Sixers.
All right, well, let's not talk about it. I think Toronto's haunting him in some way. Let's get past that.
Thanks so much, Ricky.
Hey, appreciate it. Take it easy, guys.
Absolutely, man. See you next time.
All right, bye.
That was Ricky Bell from the Backyard Report. They got a really great show. I strongly urge you to check them out. Just great content all the time. They're always active, talking about the league, talking about the East. If you're interested, go find the Backyard Report on Facebook and on Anchor. Reevy, you ready for the Reevy rant?
Hell yeah, I am. The Reevy rant. So these leagues, they need to be the parents. We're the kids. We don't know better. We're just fans. I mean, I know better because I'm Reevy, and this is the Reevy rant, and I get to say what I want, and I'm right.
Yes, it's time for the Reevy rant. What do you got for us, Reevy?
All right, it's interesting because we were just talking about it. We dealt with these kind of issues with our last conversation with Ricky Bell, and my issue is the way fans are acting and reacting, and even, professionals.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before, on ESPN, on
The
the
sensationalism of
the
everything.
sensationalism.
Yeah.
And people need to get off the spin cycle and get a little bit thankful for what they have and have a broader view. Art, they say art imitates life, but life is beginning to imitate Twitter. There's nothing artful about Twitter, usually. Follow at Michael1979 if you want to see some stupid comedy that could only exist in that medium. It's brilliantly stupid. Check it out. But speaking of stupid, way too many of us are making big proclamations and guesstimations with such little information. We've adopted the speed and inaccuracy of Twitter for our everyday lives, and it doesn't make any sense. And we compound the problem by stealing another trick from Twitter, speaking in absolutes. There's no room on the fence in the Twitterverse, but real life, as we talked about, is nuanced. If you want to invariably sound like an idiot, do the Twitter thing and limit yourself to what happened yesterday. If you want to be right more often than wrong, take a step back, take it all in. What happened yesterday, last week, last year, you get the idea.
Yeah.
Take in the big picture. Way too many people saying bench Carson Wentz.
Right.
You could never be a coach or a GM of a professional team if you react that way.
Totally reactionary response. You know what I mean? Just like angry reactionary response. I was there on Sunday, which not at the stadium, but like there as far as bench that dude. But yeah, I'm over that. I got over that by Monday.
We're taking Twitter into the real world, and it's a huge problem. Mm-hmm. Because, let's face it, most of us spend our social lives on social media. So we feel like our posts need to count, and they need to be clear and take one side, like we said, black or white. It can't be a middle ground. Well, you're stupid if you think you should bench Carson Wentz. And you're stupid if you're going to judge Carson Wentz based on a few bad games. You have to take it all in. That's all I got to say about that.
Dude. Absolutely fantastic. It's great.
We don't even know we're doing it, but we become these. We just totally overreact to what happened yesterday. Mm-hmm. And we let the people who are doing it for a living on ESPN, who know what they're doing, they're doing it on purpose. They don't sometimes believe half the things they're saying.
That's the job, yeah.
And we want to be like them, and we want to sound smart. Well, you end up sounding like an idiot if you do that.
We talk about like Stephen A. First Take. What's the one on FS1 with Shannon Sharp and the other dude?
I think
Undisputed.
Shannon Sharp's gone now, right?
Is he gone now?
Was it him?
I don't even
Yeah,
know.
I don't know.
But shows like that, is like it's not news. None of it is news. It's all commentary. It's all opinions, and it's all sensationalized, and it's all day. That's the problem with it all, is that it's all day. It's just not even, and we're just talking about TV, but like you can listen to Philly Sports Talk Radio. It's all over there too. And then you hear the people calling in, and it's almost like they're all brainwashed by it. Like I don't.
And you know what? Also, this is another thing entirely. And I don't want to get into this because it's just it's muddy waters. But the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, if you were on ESPN and you didn't take Colin Kaepernick's side, at least a little bit, you weren't even allowed to have an opinion. Every single person on ESPN who commented, at least if they were against everything, like one part or one aspect of what Colin Kaepernick did, they had to punctuate it with, I still believe in his cause. I still think he's doing the right thing. Still think he deserves to be in the league. Well, where's the person that's representing millions of people out there that don't feel that way?
Right.
They're just voluntarily, and maybe it's just dangerous to have that opinion nowadays. But Stephen A. Smith, he was as harsh as one could be.
Yeah, and then he turned around on Monday.
He was taken to task big time.
Yeah.
And he was also one of those guys where, like, I believe in Colin Kaepernick. He's got Colin Kaepernick's number in his cell phone. He's invited him on the show. He believes in his cause. There's nobody that takes the other side. Now you go on FS1, and there's guys that do. On other networks, why do we have to play the politics game with sports now?
Everything.
It's crazy. Why can't you just show both sides of a sports argument anymore?
Right. Well, like, I'm all about his cause and raising awareness,
And
But
we
it
were able to
hasn't-
have that debate
Right.
a couple weeks ago without even getting into the cost.
Right. And that's the problem with the whole Kaepernick thing right now, is that it's not about any of that anymore, and it hasn't been for a long time. And that's the shame of it all to me, is that now what the problem was in the beginning, whereas like the media and everybody reporting on it only focused on the action of kneeling and not the reason, now there is no reason anymore. You know? So like
Right.
I was frustrated about the way it was covered at first, but now I'm even more frustrated about what it actually is anymore. You know?
And you know what's funny? We talk about, misinformation and, fake news, and you look at one thing and see two different things. It was very interesting. Stephen A. Smith printed out copies of what the whole thing.
Yeah.
Most of the talk was about the waiver.
The waiver,
deal,
yep.
and we talked about that too. We didn't have all the information.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the only difference in the waiver was that the NFL has never done this kind of thing for one individual player. So they were worried that if he got hurt, there could be some lawful. It could look in the eyes of the law like he was an employee of the league because he was
Right, 'cause
one
he's only one
single
person.
player
Right.
invited to this. While he was trying out for the league, one could maybe argue that he was being employed by the league during that tryout. That's the only thing the waiver changed. It was just to make the language in the contract, hey, if you get hurt during this tryout, it's on you. And that's it. And that's not a big deal.
Right.
You wouldn't think. So it's just funny that, and what I just said, somebody who feels adamantly the opposite way can probably misconstrue that and come up with something totally different and say, no, actually what it
Right.
is now he can't sue the league because blah, blah, blah. If there's a conspiracy theory to be had, someone will fish it out.
Right.
But it's just gross that gets into sports nowadays. It's just unnecessary.
Real quick before we take break, I want to talk a little bit. Ricky touched on it right before we got off the phone with him. The Sixers. On Monday night, Joel Embiid held to 0 points in Toronto. 0 for 11. 0 for 6 free throws. 14 rebounds. I was embarrassed for him. I was embarrassed for the organization. And I was embarrassed for the city of Philadelphia. I think it's shameful. I think if Joel Embiid was as good as we all want him to be, he would have found a way to at least make a fucking bucket by the end of that game. I think that real champions pick their shit up when they know it's fucked up. I think that if that was Shaq, I think if that was Charles Barkley, I think if that was Alonzo Mourning, I think if that was just about anybody else, they would have hustled harder to make some buckets, to make a difference in that game. Because 14 rebounds from an all-star big guy is not enough. 14 rebounds, 0 points is not enough. One of the positive takeaways that I took from that game in the last sequence of things was that Ben Simmons took basically a half-court shot. He could have waited. He had a couple seconds. He wasn't aware enough to realize that he could have either stepped off, passed it to somebody, or at least got a little closer to the rim. But one thing I can say is that the guy took the shot to win the game from beyond the arch. So I can dig that. I like that.
I only take exception to one thing you said. You were talking about Shaq, and I can only assume you're talking about Charles Shackelford, who played for the New Jersey Nets and for the Sixers for a short period of time.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're talking about him.
Right.
He scored 0 points all the time, so I don't know what you mean. So you want to clarify that?
No, Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, Shaquille. Okay, the other Shaq.
Right.
So you have to be specific with your retired Shaqs. If you're going to talk about a guy on the 76ers, everybody remembers Charles Shackwell, the former, great Shaq for the Philadelphia 76ers. So maybe if you're talking to somebody, outside of the city, but for me, Shaq will always be Charles Shackelford. So I'm coaching you up. This is a coaching moment, a teaching moment.
But do you agree though that an all-star
Right.
would pick up the pace, figure out a way to put some points on the board? I mean, I'm not saying that he didn't want to score, that he didn't. I'm just saying that crowd got into his head beyond everything that I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, you know what? Once and future guest of the program, Jack Fritz of 610 94.1, I guess no longer 610, 94.1 WIP, he said on Twitter, maybe Facebook, whatever it was, very interesting point. I'm going to paraphrase here. He's sick and tired of the young players, the young stars in this town not progressing.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about it and you're like, wow, that's a good point. You go through all 4 teams right now. You can even include the Flyers in that. And it just seems like the young stars aren't progressing. And that's kind of like becoming this like pressure cooker thing for fans, I think, in the city, where they expect something. They expect a rise. They expect something more of a guy like Rhys Hoskins, of someone like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, of Carson Wentz, Nelson Aguilar, and the Flyers, some guy with a Canadian or French name who's not playing as well as they should because, who watches the Flyers? You get my point. And that thing, that's annoying. That's really annoying when that kind of thing happens because it's bad enough when you bring in like, a veteran and they, slowly decline. Like, shit.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of money on this guy. Didn't quite perform up to our expectations. But when you bring a guy up and he's a rising star and they just stay at this level for years and years and years, you talk about Ben Simmons and his 3-point shooting. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big, big deal in the city right now. You just want to see progress.
Yeah, something. Now, him taking shots is progress. I can say that.
But I'm actually one of those guys. I don't need to see him take a 3.
Right.
Like it's
Just shoot.
I think it's kind of insulting to assume that like it's that easy to learn. Like you can just learn to be a great
Sure.
3-point shooter.
Sure.
And there are guys that do it. But, let's do the math on this. Let's, roll the dice. And I don't think you can just make, more often than not, you're not going to be able to make a 3-point shooter. There's guys that figure it out. They get better and better at it. A point guard is always one of the examples there. Shoot, I forget his name. I believe he played for the Nuggets. I forget who he was. But he's like a 10-year NBA vet. His name was just in my head and it popped out. Don't you hate when that happens? Anyway, he was a horrible 3-point shooter in college. Absolutely awful. Maybe Ray Felton? I'm not sure. But developed into a 40% 3-point shooter. We're talking like a 25% max. The guy didn't take a 3 the first half of his NBA career, learned how to do it. Okay, those are the exceptions to the rule. I mean, there's actually a lot of like the centers and the power forwards in the league that are shooting 3s. They always could. I mean, I was talking to Scott Pollard on Twitter one time, former really, really great, mostly backup center, but he started. He was a solid guy to put there in the paint. He always said, man, like, they didn't want me to shoot 3s. I could shoot 3s. I'd be able to do it. I took shots every day. You don't think I could step back at the 3-point line and shoot a 3? I could have done that, but it wasn't part of the game. Guy like Ben Simmons, I don't think he ever wanted to do that. I don't know how much he actually practiced his jump shooting, to be totally honest.
Right.
So for that kind of guy, I don't know if you can, make him into that. And sorry to make this whole argument into, just a Ben Simmons thing, but for me, it's just annoying, and I think for a lot of Philadelphia fans, it's annoying to not see these guys progress.
Right.
And you wonder if it's, coaching in that respect. I think the Phillies, really good move with the manager change they made. I think the Sixers have got to make a move there. I mean, I don't know why Brown still has the job, It's kind of like a loyalty thing we talked about with the Eagles and some players that maybe shouldn't still be on the team.
Yeah.
It's like a Brett Brown loyalty thing because he was there for the down years, and I think now it's time to get
Now it's time to
really
move on.
good coach in there.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to guess some spreads.
Hey, it's Jackie from Relatable Radio. I want to talk to you guys about Eunomia CBD. This stuff is great, and it helps with my stress and my aches and pains. I've tried everything I can get my hands on, from the gummies, pills, droppers, drink enhancers, and they're all fantastic. And they work. Holidays are coming up. Give the gift of Eunomia CBD. It's 100% THC-free, nano-amplified, and third-party lab tested. You can find them at eunomiacbd.com. That's EUNOMIACBD.com. Use promo code MBN and you'll get 20% off, plus free shipping, plus free stuff. They're giving exclusive stuff just to the MBN listeners. So what do you have to lose? Go to eunomiacbd.com today. Must be 18 or older to purchase.
So you've been listening to the Might Be News Network, but you still can't get enough each week? Become our patron on Patreon. Head to patreon.com/MBN Network to become a patron and get exclusive content now. For as little as $5 per month, you'll get access to extended episodes of all your favorite shows, as well as perks including MBN merch and monthly giveaways. Just want to support the network? Become a patron for as much or as little as you'd like. Get bonus content each week and head to patreon.com/MBN Network. Your contributions help us make this network bigger and better than ever before. Patreon.com/MBN Network.
Welcome back to Might Be Sports, the day before Thanksgiving edition. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope you guys have a great holiday weekend. Make sure you check out a holiday edition of Might Be Brews tomorrow, followed by a Black Friday edition of Might Be Tunes. Also, we here at the network are releasing the soundtrack for the Might Be News Network tomorrow, along with the episode of Might Be Brews. All that is all the cool little instrumentals that you hear at the beginning and the end of the shows, plus some of the commercial cuts and different things like that. It's just a little thing to just be thankful for. I guess I'm just going to mess around and throw it out there, and it's going to be one track, so you can just click play and listen to it for 30, 40 minutes, however long it is. But thank you guys all out there for listening. I hope you guys stay safe and have a great holiday weekend. CJ, you ready for some guess the spreads action?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Bears at Lions.
So this is starting off with the Thanksgiving Day games, right?
Yep.
By the way, what's your perfect Thanksgiving spread?
I'm a big turkey.
What's your top 5?
Oh, I don't even know if I eat 5 things on Thanksgiving. Turkey, stuffing, gravy, mashed potatoes, rolls, baby.
Rolls overrated.
What? On Thanksgiving?
It's just bread.
0.
There's no room for it.
No.
No room for it.
No.
You got turkey.
Uh-huh.
Probably mashed potatoes.
Okay.
I guess you got to go stuffing. Oh no! All right, I'm gonna go green bean casserole because it doesn't exist any other time during the year, and it's that dish where maybe it's just me, but every year you're like, do I like that? I don't know if I like that, and then you do like, oh, I like that. All right, cool. You're just not exactly sure because you haven't had it in 364 days. So what are we up to? We got 4 there. We got turkey, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, stuffing. And number 5, I don't know, man. I mean,
the rolls.
I don't know if I have room for 5. I don't think corn counts. You kind of mix the corn in.
You can dip into dessert here.
No, I don't do the dessert. That's also a waste. Why would you save room for dessert when you have all these amazing?
Because you have the rest of the weekend to eat the shit.
I've always kind of said, like, you have a great meal. Dessert can only ruin it.
Wow. That's a negative way to live
So you
life.
want to end on that high note of the meal and not have the dessert. But I don't have a sweet tooth, so I'm not, it's not a big thing for me. It's definitely not the, what's that purple stuff? Cranberry sauce.
Oh, yeah, gross.
Yeah, the most enjoyable thing about that is the noise it makes when it comes out of the can.
That's gross too. That's gross.
So that's
too.
great. They're like, yeah, it's great. Yeah. So number 5, you know what? I'm gonna ruminate on that, and by the end of the spreads, I'm gonna give you my.
Could
my
5 be
number
football? Could 5 be football? Because that's a big part of the day.
It's not part of the question, man. I can't just make like 5. GZ.
We make our own rules here.
No, it's not. It's not within the rule set. You can't eat football.
That's true.
Can you? You could eat pigskin.
That's true too. CJ, guess the spreads.
Bears at Lions.
Bears are back. So I'm gonna go Bears +3 or Bears by 3. Excuse me.
Well, are the Bears back? Are they?
Oh yeah.
I forget who's even quarterbacking the Lions. I kind of like them with Stafford, but they got too many injured guys, and I'm pretty sure Stafford's still out. So, you said Bears by 3.
Correct.
I'm going to go Bears by 3.
Bears by 3.
Oh, man! That is so satisfying. Wow. That is so satisfying because normally we try not to pick the same one, but I liked it so much, and I get more credit than you do for that. So, suck it. You came in second on that one.
Bills at Cowboys.
Wow. See, I really want to say, I know the Bills can beat the Cowboys here. Mm-hmm. I know they can. But it's just this ability they seem to have with like the mediocre teams they beat up, the Cowboys being that team. So I could see them beating up on the Bills. Probably not a game I would touch as far as gambling goes. But if the line was good enough, I don't know. This one's going to be in Dallas, so I'm saying Dallas by... I could see this being another 3. It feels like 3. But I kind of like Josh Allen. I'm torn between 2 or 3. I'm going to go with 2. -2, Cowboys.
I'm going to go Bills -2.
Cowboys by 6.5.
Good Lord.
Okay, that's a lot.
That's a lot. I'm going Bills all day.
Yeah, I might want to bet on the Bills there. That's,
all day.
That's solid.
Saints at Falcons.
Saints are back. I actually don't know if they are or not, but I'm going to go Saints by 6.
Didn't they lose?
Yeah, I think they did.
Or is that? I don't remember. It's been a busy week. I'm moving. Saints at Falcons?
Yes.
Okay. Well, not going to be double digits because it's in Atlanta. So Saints by 8.
Saints by 6.5.
Wait, is that a Thursday game? Is that a Thanksgiving game?
That's the regular Thursday night game.
Oh.
So there's 3 games on Thursday?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's cool. That's
I can never remember how they
all
do
of them
this
are good
thing, but that
games
sounds
too.
right.
That's a good game. What did you say that what was it?
Yeah, it's not that great a game.
No, who won? Who? What's the spread for that one?
6.5. Saints Falcons.
Saints.
Oh, okay.
Browns at Steelers.
I'm interested in this one.
Yeah.
I might Browns at Steelers. That could be fun. I mean, I like the rivalry aspect, even though it's been mostly one-sided, obviously. But I don't know. I don't like the Steelers, but I like to watch them play. Browns at Steelers. Browns are healthy. They just stink. Steelers are not. Browns are going to be favored by... Last week they had a double-digit line, and we said they didn't deserve that, and they won by like 20. This could be a similar thing, but it's not going to be double digits. So I'm going to say Browns by 7.5.
At Steelers,
Yes.
That might be low.
I'm gonna go because at Steelers, that crowd is gonna be ridiculous because of that last game. I'm gonna go Steelers by 2.
Browns by 1.5.
Ugh. Wow. That's
Packers at Giants.
I don't get that one.
Packers at Giants.
Yes.
Packers gotta have a bounce back game. I think they're gonna obliterate the New Jersey Giants by at least 8. Packers by
At
8.
Giants, I feel like they're giving them more than a 2-point home advantage because if that last line was -1 or whatever it was, that's crazy. Well, You said 8? I'll go, Price is Right. You can go 7.
Packers 6.5.
Damn.
Nice.
Jets at Bengals.
Is it me?
Well,
No, it's you.
no, it's me.
Jets at Bengals.
Yes.
God, what a shitty game.
Let me just look up real quick what the Bengals did last week. I don't think much of the Jets right now. The Jets are so hard. Like, why you would ever bet on a Jets game, I have no idea. It just doesn't make sense to, because you don't know what they're going to be from game to game. But their backup quarter, whoever is in there right now, playing instead of Andy Dalton, he just seems like shit. 2 straight weeks they scored just 10 points. Steelers beat the Bengals 16-10 last week. So I'm going to say the Jets are favored in this one by 2.
I'll Price is Right you and say Jets by 1.
Jets by 3.5.
Wow.
Got it.
Eagles at Dolphins.
If the Eagles lose this game, it's over.
There could be some value here. I don't know.
It's over.
But it's hard to say because normally you have a better feel for it in the city, but I think there's so much negativity that you might be able to judge this game better if you're outside of it.
Right. I'm going to go Eagles by 5.
Eagles by 6.
Eagles by 9.
See, that's
That's high.
there's going to be a lot of people, I think, betting on the Dolphins in
Yeah.
the city.
Yeah.
Niners at Ravens.
Well,
Wow, that's this week? What time is that?
It is 1 o'clock.
That's a 1 o'clock game? Niners Ravens?
that sounded like your enthusiasm there. It sounded like so fake.
Dude.
Wow, great game. What time's that, CJ?
No, I feel it. No. I'm saying that should
Yeah.
at least be the game of the week.
49ers Ravens. Oh, man.
Great. Okay, terrific.
Lamar Jackson, he's the real deal. Can't wait to see him throw around the pigskin. He's getting better at it, by the way. Have you seen?
Dude, 5 touchdown passes last
15
night.
complete passes, 5 touchdowns. I've been high on him all year, so I don't want to hear this bullshit. I was fair. I said he's good. It just won't last because he'll get hurt.
It's true.
And like you like to say, I'm wrong till I'm right.
That's right.
And I'll be wrong for a while.
Yep. For an undisclosed amount of time.
I stepped out on
Dude, he looks so good. He looks so good on Monday night.
yeah.
They destroyed the Rams.
You
They
look at-
destroyed them. He destroyed them.
I don't watch the Monday night games a lot, and I don't watch a ton of the AFC. So I haven't seen a lot. I've seen the highlights of Lamar Jackson for the most part.
Sure.
Few games I've seen the bulk of him play this season. But I mean, just looking at this, I've looked at every stat sheet he's played all year long, and the stat sheets are just ugly. I don't know where they're getting these points from, and I think it keeps coming back to, man, their defense is getting no respect. Because the only explanation you look at these stat sheets is that the defense is just swallowing up opponents. That's the only thing that makes sense. Is they're just totally shutting down the opposing offense, and it's creating, short field. It's creating this opportunity for a lot of points, and not having to work that hard for it.
Right.
That's the only thing I can glean from, looking at him completing 15 passes for under, I think, 200 yards, but 5 touchdowns. And then you look at the rushing yards, and it's like, all right, well, they had one rusher over 100 yards, like 110 yards, but that was it. Lamar Jackson had, decent amount of rushing yards, but you're not seeing these glaring stats. You're not seeing a guy who went off for, 180 rushing yards, a guy who caught, 120 yards passing or receiving rather. And you're not even seeing the quarterback get to 200 yards passing, but 40 some points. It's insane. And they seem to keep doing that. So, and I don't want to be that guy who refuses to give up his side. Lamar Jackson, he's playing great, but throw a little bit of credit to their defense.
Oh, no doubt. But that being said, Lamar Jackson's the MVP frontrunner right now.
I will finally give you that over Russell Wilson. So where's this game?
Baltimore.
In Baltimore, yeah.
Who's going? Did you already say? I don't think he
No.
said. All right, so I'll go first. I don't know whose turn it is.
I think it's
but
yours.
It's in Baltimore. I'm going to go. How do you freaking bet against? How do you
This
handicap
one's tough.
game?
Yeah, this one's really tough. This is a great game. That's why I'm shocked it's on at 1 o'clock.
I'm guessing you have to go Ravens heavy and say this is, I guess, Ravens by 6.5.
I'm gonna go Ravens by 5.
Ravens by 6.
Damn.
Bucks at Jags.
At Jags, I'm gonna go Bucks by 4. Because Jacksonville Jaguars stink.
Uncle Buck, is that a Thanksgiving movie? Or am I just confusing that with
I think that's Christmas.
the John Candy Christmas movie?
Yeah.
Is he Uncle Buck?
Yes.
John Candy?
Planes, Trains, and
I'm confusing it
Automobiles
with
is a
Planes, Trains, and
Thanksgiving movie.
Automobiles.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a Thanksgiving movie, right?
Yeah,
Or no?
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It certainly is.
It's a great movie.
Bucks at Jags. Did you say what? Did you say something?
I said Bucks by 4.
Okay, that's wrong. So I'm sorry to say, you're an idiot. That is going to be.
Did you hear that? Ricky was like, "I'm so glad Kev's here."
This is going to be the classic, patented pick game. Pick 'em.
Jags by 1.
Pretty close.
Pretty close, closer than I was.
Titans at Colts.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a. You know what?
Colts.
I'm gonna go pick them on that. Oh, it's your turn.
It's not your turn.
Sorry.
So why don't you
Sorry.
just relax?
Sorry.
Brissett, a little bit of the how's that saying go? A little bit of the something off the rose, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying. It's been a long week, and it's only for us Tuesday. All right.
Right.
It's been one of those weeks. I can't wait for tomorrow. Busiest drinking night of the year. I will be contributing to that situation. Well, with that, it's fucking perfect that I forgot who the teams were. Sam again.
Titans at Colts.
Yes. Okay. Of course. Jacoby Brissett. Maybe not as good as we all thought. Who knows? But still good enough for this game. Colts by 3. Oh, you know what? That might be wrong. Because Tannehill's playing kind of great right now.
Oh, is he?
I still have time to change my pick.
I'm gonna go pick him.
I'm going to go half a point. Minus half a point for the Titans.
Wow.
It's going to be Colts by 2.
What did I say first? Did I say 2?
No, I
No.
think you said 3.
I said 3?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Redskins at Panthers.
I'm going Titans there all the way, by the way.
Yeah.
Titans at Panthers. That's you.
Wait,
Wait,
who?
Redskins at Panthers.
Redskins
Yeah.
at Panthers.
Titans probably aren't playing 2
Man,
games in the
Redskins.
same day. That would
Redskins
be-
might win 2
so
in a
at
row.
the same time.
Yeah, that would be so unfair. You can't. How would you even do that? Like logically.
Redskins might win 2 in a row this week. I'm gonna go, but no, I'm gonna go Panthers by 1.
Panthers by. Panthers by 5.
Panthers by 10.
Damn!
Yeah, you're.
Is Christian McCaffrey their quarterback?
They go up and down, and they're kind of up right now.
They're back.
They're back.
Rams at Cardinals.
Rams look like shit, but that's what happens when you play the Ravens right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cardinals, you say?
Yes.
At the Cardinals?
Yes.
I kind of love
Mm-mm.
their quarterback. I think
He's gonna get hurt.
there's no way they could could Vegas really turn the tables here and have the Cardinals be favorites?
No way.
It seems impossible, but I actually love the Cardinals in this game. This might be one of those where I will bet just to do it. But I think there's value to bet on the Cardinals because the Rams are going to be favored by 2.
Rams by 7.
Rams by 3. Chargers.
You don't have a feel for this anymore, bruh.
I guess.
Chargers at Broncos.
Chargers at Broncos. I'm gonna go Chargers by 1.
Chargers by... I think you're way off on this one, too. Chargers by 6.
Chargers by 2.5.
Oh, man. Now I look like an idiot.
Raiders at Chiefs.
Okay.
What is this, Sunday night?
We're at the 4 o'clock game, the last 4 o'clock game.
One of those things where now everybody, because look what happened last week. See, the Raiders stink again. I'm not sure that's true. And I'm not sure the Chiefs are all the way back. But
It's a
the Chiefs
divisional
will
game.
be favored. How many points? I'm going to say, I want to say 5, but if it's 5, I feel like that's too low. And people are going to jump on the Chiefs because it's still, at the end of the day, it's Chiefs-Raiders. And it's in Kansas City, right? So
Yes.
it's got to be more than 5. So I'll go with 7. Chiefs by 7.
We're Chiefs by 6.
Chiefs by 9.5.
Wow.
Yeah, I see. But I mean, you wouldn't be surprised at all if the Raiders won that game.
I would be pretty surprised.
Patriots at Texans.
It's a good game. I'm going to go Patriots by 5.
I think the Texans, well, no, I think the Patriots have to lose another game before it's all done.
I agree.
This could be the one. They've just been hanging on the edge on every game, just waiting to lose. They lost to the Ravens, I believe. One of their victims. And this could be it. So this game is, let's see, it's this at Houston or at?
At Houston.
Okay. That's going to change things a little bit. Patriots, of course, are still going to be favored, but they'll be favored by just 5. Did you make a pick?
Did I?
I don't know.
What was the game?
It's going to be funny if you did.
Patriot
And then
at
totally
Texas.
different numbers. So
Oh,
just do it.
yeah. No, I didn't pick yet. Patriots. Oh, yeah, I did. I said Patriots by 5.
Oh, I said 5 too. All right.
Patriots by 3.
See what we need to do? We need to learn to listen to each other if this relationship is going to progress.
Vikings at Seahawks.
It's the Monday night game.
Yes.
Good game.
This is a good game. I think.
I think it's my turn.
Oh, yeah.
Mr.
No. Yeah, it is.
Mr. Butt Ahead,
Do
Mr.
it.
Buddy Buttson. I'm an idiot. I like the Seahawks. I think people are a little bit down on the Seahawks right now. They think it's all Russell Wilson. I think it's more complicated than that. But I really like the Vikings this year. And they're kind of going in the same direction. They're having great years, but people aren't as high on them as they were earlier. I will still go with, oh man, I don't know. This is tough. I got it. I love the Vikings offense. I think it might be the best in the league. Because of that, I'll say Vikings by 2.
Vikings by 3.
Seahawks by 2.5.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
All right. Let's do a super duper fast clickbait round.
Papa John's founder. I ate 40 Papa John's pizzas in 30 days, and it sucks now. I like Shaq, though.
It doesn't surprise me at all that he's bitter. It also doesn't surprise me at all that he ate that many pizzas.
That still seems like a lot. 40 pizzas in 30 days.
And also, if you eat that many pizzas in what you said, 30 and 40 days,
40 pizzas in 30 days.
40 pizzas in 30 days, you're not going to like that pizza anymore, regardless.
It's weird that we were just talking about Charles Shackelford, and he's a fan as well.
Yeah,
The Papa John's pizza guy is a fan of obscure old 76ers players.
it's true.
That's crazy.
Washington Nationals huge World Series bonuses, $100,000 per person.
That's a lot. But also, is it?
Yeah, that's always cool. It doesn't really matter how much money you make when somebody shows up with $380,000 minus all the bullshit taxes, like on your doorstep. Which that's actually how they do it. It comes,
In the form of a huge check?
yeah, a 19-year-old intern from NYU comes over with a wheelbarrow full of cash, and it's fun. Like because when he drops it off, normally the polite thing the player does is they give the player or the intern hey, whatever you can grab in 3 seconds, you get to keep. And it's just a fun thing for the kid, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's great, and I'm sure they do too. It's still a lot of money, unless you're like Bryce Harper making like $40 million a year. Then maybe, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Jerry Jones, I'm not firing Jason Garrett during the season.
Yeah, he's gone after the season, in my opinion.
Quick mini rant, the whole lame duck coach thing. Like, why are we so stupid? Like, why are we so stupid? When the rule is, we've all decided the rule is, quote unquote, you can't have a lame duck coach. It's a lame duck saying, by the way, but can't have a lame duck coach. Why? Well, you want him to know you believe in him, so you give him an extra year. You don't want him to be in the last year of his contract. Well, if that's the new rule, then having 1 year left on your contract is like not having 1 year left on your contract. If that's the new rule, no, everybody knows that you could just get fired with 1 year left on your contract. Everybody knows that. It's a stupid, dumb thing. I don't know where it started, but it needs to end like yesterday. Please, the lame duck coach thing, it doesn't make any logical sense. Think before, yeah, I hate it. Stupid. But yeah, he's going to be fired for sure. Unless they would have to win 2 playoff games. Only chance he keeps his job.
It's not happening.
Drake trolls Joel Embiid at Raptors game, flashes huge ring.
So sick of it. So sick of it. So sick of it. So sick of it. So fucking sick of it. That motherfucker didn't win a championship. All he did was show up to the games. He's terrible rapping. He's a horrible lyricist. I'm sick of it. I wish Joel Embiid would have grabbed him and fucking body slammed the shit out of him and then ripped his fucking beard off. I'm sick of Drake. He's a stupid, stupid person.
Speaking of Drake, who's your top 5 rappers? Just kidding. Nobody cares. Next story.
Evander Holyfield's son destroys second opponent with third round knockout.
Just to be clear, I don't really hate Drake. I just seeing him that happy really frustrates me. Especially when Joel Embiid has 0 points.
You're saying that because you know Drake listens to the program. And
Drake and I are great friends.
You've been kissing his ass all season long.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of you, Drake.
Drake and I are very good friends. I've all the way back to the Degrassi days. I just can't stand how happy he gets when the Sixers suck. That's all.
Makes sense. What was the last story?
What was
I forget.
Evander Holyfield's son
right.
destroys second opponent with third round knockout.
It's rare that you see this day and age a successful fighter who wants their child to also be a fighter, because you end up like Evander Holyfield. He's pretty damn punch drunk, dude. If you listen to this guy talk, he's out of it. I've always been a pretty big boxing fan. Not a fanatic, but I was way bigger a fan back in the day than UFC kind of took it over, lost a little bit of its luster. But man, there are guys that just stayed in too long. I listened to an interview with Bernard Hopkins last week. He played into his 50s. I think he's mid-50, coming on 60 pretty soon.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think he's in his early to mid-50s, but he played up until 50, maybe even beyond that, or boxed rather. And he's it's hard to follow him a little bit. You could tell he's had his bell rung. Why would you want to do that to your kid? When it's not necessary.
Yeah.
There's a reason why, there's sports, let's be honest, there's sports for rich white kids, and it's not boxing. You box because you got to get out of some sort of hell. You don't normally want to get hit in the head for a living.
Yeah.
So he's got all this money. Why would he do that?
NFL's Brandon Brooks, anxiety forced me out of the game. Vomiting wouldn't stop.
That's a real shame, because this is a very real thing for a lot of people. And, you hate to see that. I've read an interview or an article talking about his connection with Lane Johnson, and obviously he wasn't there on Sunday. Connection being that Lane Johnson helps with his anxiety attacks and things of that nature. I think it's a real shame, and I hope for the best for him. I don't know what they do to really treat that stuff, but as an anxious person myself, I can relate, and I can't imagine how nervous I would be performing in front of an angry mob at the Lincoln Financial Field.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I do this, why I started doing this with you guys, is because I get terribly nervous for everything, TV, radio related, just dumb. I remember there was one interview I did for the baseball book. It was for a radio station in San Francisco. They were scheduled. The more it's scheduled, the more frightened I get.
Yeah.
And then I'm just looking at my watch, like, 2 o'clock, they could call me up. And the thing about radio is, and it's live, and it's like, they want you to call in at 2. You call in at 2, flat. And they'll give you like 3 minutes. They'll say, all right, we're going to bring you on in about 3 minutes. You'll hear the show in the background, and, they'll cue you up. You'll know when to start talking. And you just got to go. It's not recorded. There's no takes. You just go. And I would get so nervous. But this one specific one, the only thing I could think, and it kind of worked, I would pinch my leg, like to the point, like real pain. So then the pain would distract me from the anxiety. Because you can only do so many things at once. You're trying to come up with, baseball stats and, interesting facts about the book. And you're nervous. And you got pain shooting through your goddamn leg because you're pinching yourself. So you kind of have to choose. I was still nervous, but not as much. And you get to that point, and you're like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
So you got to figure out a way through that. And I think people that don't experience that have no idea what it is. And your brain is freaking weird. And it's great to not have that, but when you do, it can shut everything down. So it stinks. I get it. I mean, I explain this to some people that are just on all the time. No idea.
Yeah.
Terrell Owens blasts Stephen A. over Kaepernick criticism. White co-host blacker than you.
Well, to be fair, Max Kellerman is in my top 5. He's one of my favorite rappers from way back.
Oh, God.
Have you seen the video of Max Kellerman rapping?
No. I don't even
crazy.
want to. Oh, God.
You know what? It's funny that we were just talking about boxing and, Max Kellerman's the boxing guy and then rap. We should get into this someday, like have like an in-depth talk about this situation. But it's interesting. If you want to go on the Wikipedia page, Max Kellerman's brother, I'm not even going to get into it, but someday we should. We should carve out a little bit of time to talk about this weird, insanely sad, insanely odd situation that happened with his brother and how it changed his life. And holy shit, it's amazing. If you want to check it out, everybody just Google him.
Let's get into Go to the Week.
Fight B Sports presents the greatest of all time.
Of the week. My clear-cut Go to the Week. I'm not going to do it because I've done it a bunch already this season, but Lamar Jackson is definitely the Go to the Week. But because I'm going to pick somebody else, my runner-up clear-cut Go to the Week, absolutely clear-cut, Josh Richardson from the Sixers. Just about my new favorite player on the squad. I love watching this guy play. He's the essentially the replacement for Jimmy Butler. They got him for Jimmy Butler. Great defense. He's averaging a little over 16 points a game, 38%, almost 39% three-pointers, 45% field goals. And his most recent games, he put up 25 points, 32 points, really shitty 8 points in the win against Cleveland. But then 28 and 19, he looked great against the Heat the other day when Jimmy Butler came back. They won that game 113-86, 32 of those points being Josh Richardson. I'm a big fan of his game. Really hoping that to see more from Josh Richardson. I've really enjoyed watching him so far this season, and I'm really, really glad that he's on the squad. Josh Richardson, my clear cut, Go to the Week.
I like it. He's been a little underappreciated.
I think so too.
But if and when this team comes together, he's going to be an important part of that.
Yeah.
My winner of the week, it's a little late, but we didn't have much of a chance to talk about, the media reaction to the Kaepernick stuff last week because so much came out after the fact. And then, we record this show. I mean, last week we did it on Monday. So we really had one day to hear like the media reaction to the Colin Kaepernick stuff. So, and a lot came out after Monday. So my winner of the week is, we were talking about getting, a more balanced opinion from, you have to go to multiple networks. And I mentioned FS1. So the one guy they have there, Jason Whitlock, he, for sure, I think he would consider himself a conservative fella. He's on the show Speak for Yourself with Whitlock and Wiley. I forget the guy's first name, but yeah, former NFL player, but whatever. Jason Whitlock formerly worked for ESPN. You know what? Wherever you stand on the Kaepernick stuff, one side or the other. Unfortunately, if you listen to ESPN, you're only going to get the one side. I don't care which side you're on. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't listen to both. So Whitlock's pretty much the only guy out there willing to just give his opinion, and he's not sucking up to Colin Kaepernick. And I think everybody thinks, if you don't in some way, at least 10%, give Colin Kaepernick some credit, you're just going to be wished into the cornfield. You're just done. You're canceled in some respect.
Yeah.
Jason Whitlock doesn't care. He's just going to give you his opinion. And he's been very harsh in every possible way about Colin Kaepernick. And a lot of people back his opinion. But unfortunately, you can't hear that opinion on ESPN. So you got to go to FS1. And it's important that some of these guys have these opinions. I don't agree with everything Jason Whitlock says, but I like that the Jason Whitlocks exist because you have to have both opinions. You have to have both sides. I mean, shoot, if you didn't have Stephen A. Smith coming on and, giving a little bit anti-Kaepernick talk and actually, printing out the waiver and saying, here's this small difference, you would never know. You would just take everybody's word for it. You take Kaepernick's word for it and say, it just was unfair. The whole process was unfair because everybody on ESPN is saying it must be true. You need these opposing views. And Jason Whitlock is an important voice. And unfortunately, it's, who knows nowadays what you say online or on TV that gets you, quote unquote, canceled. I hope he doesn't, because he's an important voice out there. And it was a good week for him, I think, to put those opinions out. You get a lot of hate on Twitter for it. But if you're being really open to, differing views, you got to listen to this guy.
Yeah. Great job this week, Kevin Reevey. CJ, fantastic as always.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Enjoy your turkey day. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Enjoy your football. Got a lot of good games this week. Hopefully we have some more positive things to talk about here in Philadelphia area anyway. But thank you guys so much for listening. We only got 3 episodes left of Might Be Sports for the season, everybody. So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next week.